Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that top line as well. With how well, and we've seen it in the past, these three play together. With how well Jimmy Vesey's playing right now, do you think it could be an opportunity for him to get some minutes on that top line, possibly?
It goes back. Yes, it's yes, it does. But to me, it goes back to if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like I would let it go. Honestly, I would let it go right now and leave it the way it is. And if you find yourself in a position where things go a little stale, and it's going to happen eventually, right? Where things go a little stale, you lose a couple of games, you're not happy with that's when you rejigger things right now. But they had the one game against Buffalo, and really it was one period against Buffalo that they didn't like. I know the game got out of hand late in the third period, but it wasn't a 5-1 game, right? But it was that one game against Buffalo that they did not like. I think they came back with a strong performance against Detroit. Now let's see if they can roll that over into their next several games, and you keep it the way it is right now. It isn't hurting them having Blake Wheeler, at the top line right wing now with Zibanejad and Kreider. It's not hurting the lineup. Could VC's playing well, but part of that too is VC's playing well, and he's given them some 4-line depth too.
Well, Mika's starting to get going a little bit. The power play goal against Buffalo, you really start to see him click when he's, it sounds stupid, but hitting the net on the power play, when he's a little off, he's missing high and wide. And good to see him hit the net on the power play against Buffalo. And then yesterday against Detroit, setting up Keandre Miller for the tying goal. Just how this team was able to be as successful as they were without him going at the start of the year, and now what he means to the team being, sort of back to his regular self.
Well, the thing is, every time Mika Zibanejad's on the ice, he's a threat, right? I mean, he even if he's not going, he's a threat. If he's not hitting the net, he's still a threat because you never know when he's going to, and that shot's going to get wired into the top. And he's got one of the best from that spot. That he's producing now, that's good for him and that's good for his confidence. But I think he was the least of anybody's concerns on the New York Rangers when he wasn't producing. He was still playing a solid game. It just wasn't going in. Or it was the shot was 2 inches wide left or 2 inches high or 2 inches to the right, and it just wasn't there. He, like any goal scorer, when you pot a few, you start to feel really good about your ability to put it in. Zibanejad's no different in that way of thinking. But again, I mean, I thought his overall game was still pretty solid. And now when you're getting the extra offense from him, that's it's not a bonus because you need him to score, but it's a bonus now because he was doing all the other things too.
This might be a little bit of a stretch to ask, but Selke nomination when it comes to Zibanejad, do you think that's a possibility? Maybe this year down the road, because he has really emphasized his defense, and it looked like that at the start of the year as well.
I think it should be. I mean, I think he is one of the top two-way centers in the game. We look at Mika Zibanejad, and when you see him, you see the hair flowing, you see him flying around the ice, you see the shot on the power play, the drive to the net, the chemistry with Kreider, all of the friendship with Kreider, all of that stuff. But he works hard in the defensive end. He's on the ice on PKs. He takes he handles tough assignments too. So yeah, I think so. I think if we're going to talk about Mika Zibanejad and if you talk about guys like Alexander Barkov and Anze Kopitar, I think Nico Hischier belongs in that conversation. JT Miller now. I think Mika Zibanejad belongs in that conversation.
And going back to that Kakko injury very quickly, I think the first thought of a lot of Ranger fans was, are we going to see Brennan Othmann now come up and play that right wing? I know he's listed as a left wing, but do you think the Rangers at some point during this Kakko injury give a look to Othmann?
Well, he's $100,000 more than Johnny Brodzinski, right? And that's really what it comes down to, dollars and cents sometimes. I also think in terms of not just money in this situation, like let's get Brennan Othmann a full season in Hartford. Let's see this young, promising potential star forward play his first season of professional hockey through it and thrive in that environment. It's not like they brought up some minor league scrub. Johnny Brodzinski's leading the American Hockey League in scoring. He's the captain of the Hartford team, right? I mean, so he comes in and he doesn't have to feel the pressure of being a point producer for this team, of being a first round pick, making his debut. He comes in, he's going to fill a role, and he's gonna play to his ability. He plays with a ton of speed. I know Laviolette liked him from training camp. They've liked him in Hartford for obvious reasons. He's scoring there. I think he had 25 points in 16 games or something like that. So he comes up. Give Othmann time. Let him breathe down there. I don't have any problem. And plus, yeah, it's $100,000 more that would have to go on their cap that they wouldn't have later on.